Yeah, come on, you silly thing. You drive me nuts. I'm still trying to get my camera adjusted, so give me a minute. I don't like that. I cleaned up my mess a little bit and I moved stuff around, and now it's all not the way I had it. Discombobulated. All right. Well, you can see the double hook, and it's going to see a bunch of junk. And should I go with the light or without the light? I think I'll do without the light. I don't know. Anyways, good morning, y'all. I'm Dave. Welcome to Double Hook. We just tying jigs today. So what? This the other day, I was fishing down at the park and ran into a friend that I met a couple years ago fishing at Cheney, and he was using 1/80th jigs. He's like, hey, friend of mine sent me these, and this is what I got. So, which I seen what he had, and I've tied them before. I mean something very similar. Uh, was it 2 years ago? I'd have to go back and I don't remember if I tied it on one of the first lives or what, or if I just tied some. But I mean, I talk about it, and I've talked about it in my lives that I've used 1/80th jigs for fly fishing before because you can cast them. Now, 1/80th is fairly small, so these are on a size 10 hook. So as you can see, this thing ain't much bigger than my fingernail as far as the hook. So, but what we're doing with these is we're treating them more like flies. So, um, but we're treating them more like flies, but we're using jig tying materials and fly materials kind of combined and mixed or whatever you want to call it. So, uh, what did I do with them dubbings that I had earlier? Yeah, see, I cleaned up stuff and then I moved things around. Okay, there they are. All right. So, what what I was doing is I'm using a duck feather, so a mallard kind of. So you got to see it's got that barred on there. Dave, what's your PayPal? Well, my PayPal is just simply double hook angling. So DOUBLEHOOKANGLING. So, but there's no need. So, anyways, you're going to use this feather. We're going to use several. Get my throat cleared. I'm going to use several of them, but this is what I basically have right here. Come on, camera. One of these days, I will get a new freaking camera that works right. I was at Best Buy the other day and I forgot all about it. Focus. There you go. That's what I got. So this is wood duck. But anyways, the head on this is I can't remember what the color is, but it's kind of a dark olive, like a earthwormy color. So, but real quick before I get started, let's go through and say good morning to everybody. I'm kind of just, I'm off my game, man. Let me tell you, this whole heart attack thing has got me stressed out. It's been a bad week. I wanted to go fishing. I went fishing 2 days this week and we did okay. But the second day Gregory did okay. He caught like 20 greenies. While we're down here at the local park, and then I didn't catch nothing. I got 2 bites and missed both. So I felt the one, and I believe it was a turtle. It was either that or a small channel cat trying to choke down a 3-inch green sunfish, so 2.5 inch probably. So, anyways, Gregory is my green sunfish and catching little maniac. So, you can go back and see the video that I just posted the other day. It's just a short video. I don't remember how long it is, 12 minutes or something like that. But it's Gregory catching greenies over at Pratt. So that day I caught a channel cat, I caught a couple crappie, but for like 12 minutes or so, I just video recorded Gregory. And then the rest of that, my pole started taking off. I was like, I heard a pole, but I thought it was Gregory's. And then I realized it was mine. So, but like I said, let's go through and say good morning to everybody. So we got Fish in the Mid-South was first. Norman, Curtis Cunningham. I'm trying to focus my eyeballs and read what you guys say too. So Joshua, Misplaced Country Girl, Keith, which is Joe Buck, Shirley, Martin. Welcome to the States. Hope you have a good visit. It looks like you have already enjoyed some of your time here. Shirley, Tom, LG Bass, Catfish Dog Tim. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, I was watching the show last night with Dustin and uh, uh, Martin, and I can't remember who else was on there. I was falling asleep during it, so I think I did fall asleep during it and then shut it off. I didn't even say goodbye. I just went to bed. Naomi was sick, most of the day yesterday, her stomach and stuff. She got a little dehydrated, and last night I was like, you need some salt and stuff. I was like, you need some minerals. You're getting too dehydrated. And when if you go to the hospital, the problem is anymore they won't give you an IV. They used to be they just give you an IV and then you can rehydrate and be done. Now they're all like, oh, you're fine, go home. They don't want to spend the money or whatever. So they when they give you an IV, what are they going to give you? They're going to give you a saline solution. Well, salt. That IV is like got basically 2 tablespoons of salt in it, according to my EMT son and then my doctor mother-in-law. So, the being dehydrated, even though you're eating salt, if you're eating iodized salt, the iodized salt will actually dehydrate you. So you need to, and it won't let you absorb the water. So you need actual real salt. That's not my medical opinion. That's just my opinion. Take it or leave it. So I forced her to drink a little bit of salt water, and she was able to choke that down and get some more salt in her body. And then also she, forced her to drink a little bit more water. Because like I said, you take her to the local hospital here, they'd just be like, hey, it's all in your head, go home. They won't even give you an IV anymore. And I knew she was dehydrated. She has this chronic condition where she does get dehydrated, and it's all due to her wreck and the way her bowels and stuff don't work right no more. So morning, J Dog, Lisa, all things country. What is good? River Rat 3030, no power here. Internet is, yeah. You be careful, Ernest. I mean, this a big hurricane. Everybody's freaking out. Hopefully everybody stays safe. I mean, that's one thing that we gotta, we got plenty of friends on here that are down in that area. So, everybody remember them in their prayers and, thoughts and whatever you believe in. If you're here, you're most likely a Christian. So, or at least you lean that way. Anyways, J Dog, I seen that new boat you purchased. That looked like a pretty good size one. So we're still working on ours. My trolling motor is in the shop. It is not working. So let's get to tying this jig. The boat as a whole. You guys know boat. Break out another 1,000. Oh, hey, Bullock. How you doing, Kelly? I will be out and making Martin breakfast, sausage, gravy, and hash browns. Well, feed him up. So I'm going to pinch a little, some of them to where they're like that. It's going to stick out about a 1/4 inch or so. And then we're going to, I pinched my thread up between my fingers to hold it in place. We're going to spin this back real quick, get a nice little tail on there. And that's probably a little bit big. So why I've only got a few wraps, make it the length I want, and then cinch it down. Okay. So then we'll cut this right there. Now we're using that for the tail, and then we're gonna do a little wire body. So Get me a piece of wire. Basically, like I said, we're making flies out of jigs. Ashley, good morning. Randy, hopefully I didn't miss nobody else. All right. Okay, so then you're gonna whip a little body on there so you don't see that wire underneath, and you're gonna taper it up so it's gonna be smaller at the back than at the front. So I don't wrap my wire over the feathers because that'll make the feathers kind of go wonky. I kind of put the wire between the hook and the feathers and then draw it down, and then that will get it to where it doesn't want to make your feathers go one way or another. So, and then you just wrap. Now I'm spacing my wire about as even as the wire is wide. So that's why I'm sitting here kind of taking my time and repositioning each one because I'm old and gray haired and I can't see very well anymore. So, all right, then get that up there. I'll tie this off real quick. Come on, David, catch it. There we go. Then I'm pulling our thread and then we're going to bend our wire backwards and cause a kink in it and then just friction break it off of there. Bend my hook back up where it was. Wrap a little there. Okay, now here comes the whole use the whole feather thing. If I can find my feather again, there it is. All right, so now on the other end of the feather, you got this stuff. So see that little floofy stuff. And I just take and pull that off. Then I'm going to pinch that to where you got that like that. Now I'm going to tie it to where I'm tying it about in half. And then that part that sticks up, that extra, I'm going to whip that around my thread, but I'm going to leave them fluffy hairs back there. Basically, the cut edge of the feather is going to be what I whip or what I twist on there, and hopefully it'll stay. Yeah, there it goes. Sometimes it don't stay, and you got to do it again. But you want to leave some of the fuzzy out back, but you want to use that other to help hide your thread. So, but then you're going to go back to that feather, and you're going to get a few of these little hairs here, and then you're going to lay them on to where the tips of those go just to the back of the wire, and then you get those on there. You're basically just making the upper collar hairs. All right, so you lock them in there, and you want probably 10 or so, maybe 15 little ones. So this, you might have to do a couple little ties around. So I'm going to do another one right here because it didn't have enough on that one side. And just be gentle when you pick up your feather. You don't pull it out. Okay, so now that you have that, now you're going to tuck that back a little bit, and you're right there. You're just going to kind of make a little collar. Now, it's going to kind of force these little hairs kind of go back a little bit, but that's fine. Now you're going to take the rest of the fuzz off that feather, and this time you're just not going to give a hoot, and you're just going to roll it on there because you want to hide that thread. And then you're going to wrap that up there on that collar. Okay. Now I made that collar is kind of a little bigger than I wanted. I tied too much on there. I'm kind of picky when it comes to these, so I'm going to make my, there we go. That looks better. I made the collar go back too far. Now, this is just a suggestion of how I do this, so it doesn't matter. You're just wanting to make something buggy. So if you just want to tie a collar up there, that's fine. Actually, if you used red thread and did it, it would actually, have a real contrast and then look like a bleeding fly or something. So this is going to be kind of hard for the camera to focus on. Man, I wish you could see that. Well, you guys saw the thumbnail to today's show, so you can kind of come on, you silly thing. I can't get it to focus. Anyways, y'all want to see what that jig looks like? Go look at the thumbnail. Blow up the picture of the thumbnail, and then you'll see what it looks like. So let me go back and catch up with some of this chat here. See, hey, Burrito. Please do not tell Gregory, but I'm sending him a surprise box he will enjoy soon. Okay, right on, Ernest. He's not here, so but yeah, I won't tell him. And we'll do a milk call on it. Let's see. Coastal mostly 66. Welcome in. Let's see who else. Yeah, I'm trying to catch up. I can't read that fast. John Euler, welcome in, bud. Hope you're being safe out there on the road. Let's see. Man, y'all going so fast. I wonder what a maggot fly would look like. Maybe do one later. A maggot fly? Well, my maggot flies are just made out of rubber bands. I don't know if I got any rubber bands handy. Yeah, a maggot fly. So a maggot fly, you fly larvae, you find them in the trash sometimes. I just tie a rubber band on a hook and then wrap the rubber band around. But I don't know what happened to my box. I think one of the kids took my box rubber bands because it usually sits right there. But yeah, come on, camera, focus back in. Refocus. Like Ricola. Come on, camera. Oh, you're stupid. Okay, well, we're going to have a fuzzy thing here today if this don't clear it up. We're under a tornado. What? Okay, here, we're going to highlight this so y'all can pray for her. We're in tornadoes, had bad winds, lots of trees down. Believe it or not, we had an earthquake Tuesday night, and the weather is getting wild. You be safe out there, y'all. Like I said, this is a big one. They're talking 20-foot swells. I think Katrina was only like 12 or 14 or something like that. Don't quote me, but I can't remember. Yeah. Maggot fly plate, rubber band of wire. Yes, sir. Yeah, I like using to get the color rubber bands from the dollar store. You gotta be careful with those flies that don't last long. So tie them the day you're going to go use them. The sun will corrode them very fast. Yeah. Hey, there's a Rex. How you doing, brother? What is that? 12 rescue squads heading south toward Tennessee right now. Yes, sir. Yeah, there's a lot of they did good with this one. They knew it was coming. They got a bunch of crews down there. There's old Rick. How you doing, brother? I messaged you on Facebook, my phone number, so later today you call me and we'll talk about what you wanted. And so yeah, I think we're all caught back up. So okay, so this one's going to be a little different now. Same color head, but just to show that to show that you can tie different things. So when I tie these little flies, I'll tie some the same just because I like the color or whatever. So this is for somebody that may not have any wire, and you're in the park. You find a duck feather. Hopefully you have wood ducks in your area. You don't have to use a brown one. You can use a natural color one. So I'm using a brown one. Take the center feather like that. Do the same thing. Cut that off right there. Use it as a tail. I do this to a lot of little simple jigs, and it makes it to where they're easy to tie. So I'm gonna go up here and then trim that off. Now, I dropped my feather. So, okay, so what you're gonna do now is you can get another little section. I want a little bit more than that. Probably about that much. That's probably about 10 or so little hairs. And then I'm just gonna tie those to where like they go back to where they're, probably quarter way back to the tail, and then right on top, so it looks like it's got more hanging out the bottom, like little fins or something or whatever, legs. Then I'm gonna grab this extra. It's kind of hard to do sometimes with my little pincher. Yeah, I just pulled it all out. Sometimes when you try to do these, they don't work out the right way. But anyways, you're gonna wrap that around, if I can, and cover up that black thread. Catch that end. And it don't matter if you leave those hairs sticking out, because you're going to do it again. This time I'm not going to be gentle. Let's rip the feather off. And then this time you're going to stick them towards the head, so they stick up like a little mohawk. And you're going to just comb them back. Then you're going to take that tail and wrap that tail around the front of that, just to hide the thread a little bit. When you get old, it gets hard to see this stuff. So trim that off and whip it off. That all you used was the thread and the duck feather. So nothing but just duck feather. Now I'll show you another one that's just a simple, kind of the same process, but even simpler, I should say, because you're just using a piece of marabou. Cut that. All right, so there's just another little simple, hey, look, well, I dropped it. So in the water, it'll be like this though, and those little hairs will be sticking kind of down, like, the fins and stuff. So legs, whatever you want to call it. Now, do another one of those. Small, but we're going to change the color of the head. Lisa. What? I'm talking shit. Whoop. Sorry. I forgot. I'm on. I didn't mean that. Sometimes I slip up. I try not to cuss on this channel. Sorry, I didn't mean that. I seen the emojis and then I said what I said. I didn't mean to. Anyways, feather. Yeah, you got me all flabbergasted. All right, I had some. There it is, black marabou. So This is junky marabou. I don't really care much for it, but it'll serve its purpose for what I want. Okay, so you want like a super floofy feather. Then you're going to go like this and comb it all down to a point. And hopefully it's enough. It should be. Okay. Ah! I don't think that's thick enough on the end. It pulled right out. It's just too thin. Here, let me find another one. I know I had another black feather right around here. Actually, you know what? Whoops. Since we're doing that gold head, let's just get a better feather. I'm just disorganized today. I'm sorry, guys. We need a swear jar? Yeah. I've been in the shop so much lately, and I just, in my shop, I'm foul mouthed. So, I mean, in life, I'm foul mouthed, but on here, I try not to be. I try not to be around kids, but it's so, my problem is it's so hard for me not to cuss. I just grew up being able to say what I wanted. That might do our purpose, but I don't think that one's too short. I'm too picky for this process, I guess. Here, there's a better feather. All right. So I want a long, this is an awful long time to just tie a simple jig, David. Come on. All right. So put that where I want it. Pinch that off. Drop everything because your elbow hits it all. It's the morning, man. I'm telling you, I need more coffee. I ain't had enough coffee. All right. So I'm going to get, I'm not going to cut that feather because I want to use it. All right. Now I got that wrapped up. Get that feather out of my way. All right. So then you're going to pull it backwards to where all of that that's going to stay is going to stay. And I'm just going to go like this, and I'm going to wrap it, and then flat, and then I'm going to wrap it up towards the head of the jig. And as I do so, I'm going to put tension on there, and then I'm going to whip it off right there, trim it up. Now, you want to talk about a buggy little jig. You can do so much to this because now you can add more feather to the head to stick it out or whatever. But as far as catching little bluegill, this thing is going to knock their socks off. And if you don't believe me, tie one and then go try it. So, well, Dave, why don't you use these jigs all the time? Because I like to challenge myself. Gosh, I wish that would show up. But anyways, it just looks like a little jig that's just got fuzzy, just, you know how that marabou gets. That's why you want a big floofy feather, so it gets fuzzified. And yes, that's a word, fuzzified. All right. So let's tie something else. Let's tie another little one of those. Give me that color head. Oh, actually, I got one. I got one Bigfoot blood. Lance, good morning. I still got Retire Rigs comments up there. Let's see. When you have a product. Yeah. And Lance said morning. Everybody just saying hi to everybody. Ah. Thinking I need to get some black and red jigs and back black and green ones too at some point. Right on. Yeah, just I keep pushing here. Get rid of that. There you go. There. Keep pushing buttons. I'm trying to learn StreamYard a little bit better, but I am not technically inclined. So, all right. So now we got a red Bigfoot blood head. So if you don't know, I developed that for Avid. It's basically red, and it's got some blue flake in it and some silver and some candy and all that. I mean, I mixed a bunch of colors together. So this one is just going to be a little marabou tail, but we're going to do a wire body as well. So you just want, like I said, stick out quarter, 3/16, something like that. It's like 3 mil, 4 mil. That's actually probably more like 5 right there, and more like 3/8 of an inch. Okay, nah. I would say that's probably sticking out 3/8 of an inch, which is going to be like 9 something millimeter. All right. It don't matter. They're jigs. They're fish. They don't have to all look the same. Don't tie all your stuff exactly the same if you're fishing for yourself, because you might want to try different lengths tails. You never know. A longer tail is going to make it want to glide more. That tail is going to have more poof open. Shorter tail like this going to be more stiff, make the jig move a little different. All that kind of stuff comes into effect. So, I want a different color wire than that. Where'd my wire go? Oh, here it is. All right. So since we have the red head, I'm going to do a red wire. Get that whipped on there and hidden up. Then you go back up and back down about 3/4 of the way, then back up, then back down about half the way, and then back up. You want a kind of a tapered body. So this jig, we're going to wrap the wire. I can't even speak. Wrap the wire solid. So you just go to town and roll the wire up. It'll follow itself going up. Then whip it off. Whip it good. Friction break it if it will. There it goes. Fix your hook. Roll a few more threads. Now, now I want this right here. So this is just a little black chenille, nothing fancy. So this will make a nice little tight collar. So if you see that, if you don't like that, then you can get some fluffier stuff. And this one I'm actually prefer because it's got some silver in it. It's a little bit more reflective. You're just going to tie it right there at the head. And you're going to go 1 and 2 full turns. So since I started there and went around once and then back up, I'm at 2 full turns. Carry up and lock your fuzziness on, your chenille. Trim. I'm going to go ahead and whip it down to secure it. Just put a little, just to lock that chenille on, so while I do this next step, I'm not messing nothing up. Okay, now we're going to take this silver duck. See that silver? We're going to take like this many threads, hairs, whatever you want to call it, little feather sides, trying to make them about even, then pinch them on there. Get that out of the way. This side, this is a little bit more complicated just because you don't want to pull the feather out and your old eyes can't see. You got to cut the feather without tearing anything up. without pulling it all out. And then you're going to go, and like I said earlier, flip it over. I'm going to do a little bit more. This time, just keep the feather out. I'm going to rip some off. Trying to hold all this. And these little bitty jigs is a pain in the butt, let me tell you. All right. Boy, howdy, I'm telling you, I just can't not see worth a darn no more. Used to be able to tie these pretty quick. Now I'm just like, I can't see it. And the way I'm going over I'm going to wrapping kind of around my jig eye there, just so I don't catch none of them hairs. I want to keep them all up. Whoops, then I just broke that off. I think it got tied. Yeah. I think I pulled a loop out of that, so I'm put a little glue on there. And then I'll go back and read everybody. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do something here, and I'm looking out the very bottom of my glasses so I can see. It would probably help if I had more light, but I was trying to make it to where, I mean, this way y'all can see better, I think.
You never turned your light on.
I know I never turned my light on, dear. Okay, so y'all see that's all hairy. You guys can see all that. I know you can see that from there. But it's just kind of the idea. So I probably should have put a few more wraps on there, and I could probably go back and cinch it again. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's a freaking, I get too obsessed with trying to fix stuff, I guess. Yeah, see, if I do that, I'm just going to add to it. I'm just going to make the head too bulky. But anyways, that's kind of the idea. So enough of trying to see little bitty tiny things. Now let's go back and say hi to the people I miss. So I see Fresno at the bottom of the list here, at the bottom of chat or top of chat or whatever you call it. Danny, how you doing? Let me see, who else did I miss? I'm gonna be outdoor. I probably missed a bunch of. Curtis Cunningham, did I say hi to you? I don't know if I did. I'm sorry, bud. All right. Anyways, Daddy was a Rolling Stone. All right, we'll tie something bigger that we can see. Let's go back to just tying some regular old jigs. All right, so on these, I just go back about a quarter of an inch. I overlay 3 times or so, and we're good. I'll try to keep comments. So, get this out of here. I'm gonna black. Black's a good color to have in your box, especially this time of year. Around here, we got blue-green algae is just going nuts. All that rain we had, it run off the fields, the fertilizer, what have you. It just kind of went nuts. Then. All right. So we got some black. We'll put some flash in these. Hold that in half. Okay, so that puts 4 down each side. You take a couple pieces, fold them in half, then fold them in half again, trim them off just a little longer than the feathers. Then we'll go back to that black chenille. It's a little bit bigger hook than I normally put on a 32nd. These hooks are size 2s, I think, or 4s. They may just be 4s. Yeah, I bet you they are just 4s. But when you do that, I just make the body just a touch longer. Then you don't miss it. You whip it. And then trim. There you go. Nice little jig. On a crappy camera. Tying crappy jigs on a crappy camera. There you go. Or just do a. So I got some Bigfoot blood colored up here. Let's change color. Actually, let's do a hackle jig. Let's do a yeller. This is kind of a sunset colory yellow, a mustard yellow, whatever you want to call it. My camera's not going to show it right, I'm sure. Now, this is one of my, this is a size 4. That other jig I know was a size 2. It had to be. This is a size 4 hook here. I know this is a 4 because I purposely tied. Sometimes I have troubles judging the size of those smaller hooks. So, but anyways, I got, this has no collar, no bait collar, so no bait keeper. But, so I want these jigs to be a little shorter. And that's because they're supposed to be that way. Just big fat head to get you down there a little quicker. Get you past the smalls on top or something maybe. Or get you down into, you know, on a day that there's a little current flow. What have you. And I say short. These jigs are still going to have, there's still going to have some length to it. So probably longer than what most people would use. And don't go like that and just cut it off. If you don't like the length of it, what you do is you hold all those feathers and you unwind it. I'm going to show you how I try to fix things sometimes. Tying these are more complicated than replacing or replicating hooks. What? I can't see that. Oh, tying these are more complicated than replacing hooks. Yeah, these ones here, these especially these hackle, these ones will get a little bit more detailed. So I'm just unwrapping it, and when you do that, see, with the way I tie these, you're locking one feather in at a time, which ensures that you're getting all locked down. So now, but here's the thing is, if you want all them little hairs sticking out, I'm going to add that little short end just because it will fit. So you want all these hairs even, just like a marabou jig. And if you want a super short tail jig, that's, you stack them, which means you would have cut the feather, you know, like snip, 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 and then stack them, and then you'll end up like this. So this is how these people get these really short tail jigs, is they do this, and then they go like that, and then they trim all that off. They lock that on there. And then you get the little short tail jig. Hopefully you can see that. Also, my screen for some reason went down like this and it won't blow back up. So I got like 3 inches on each side of my laptop, which makes it hard to see anyways. So I know I'm making excuses. Now, I'm going to take, and you can use this, but for this one, we're going to do this. If I could get it undone. I got a pile of crap here. All right, get the fuzzies off of that. I'm going to use this. It's yellow and black. I don't know what color it looks like. Yeah, it looks yellow and black. Sometimes it looks olivey. So this is the yellow and black. We got black thread. It's fine. It'll lock in. Then this is a really thin, so it's a small chenille. And that way you have a very thin profiled body. So if you want like a very thin, heavy head, low profile, get down in there, just but need some weight, but tininess, this is the way to go. This is a 16th on a size 4. And I got an 8th, but my 8th will only take a size 2 hook. But I am going to take my Dremel and clean it up and make it fit a 4, maybe even a 6 if I can get this end of the hook. So you can see big head, little thin profile body. Downtown Ernie Brown. Well, Ernie, we continue to pray for you too, bud. Yeah, more people need to eat more deer. Insurance costs would go down, and food prices would go down because supply and demand. If there ain't much demand, it'll go down. Um, so more people just ate deer and went hunting. I know some aren't physically able to, but I think we should, as hunters, we should be able to go hunt a deer and gift it to somebody, but at no cost. So, but I think hunting is a right. I don't think it should be a privilege. I think it should be a right to feed yourself. Now, if you're out trophy hunting, that's a different story. I think if you, as hunting being a right, you should take the does and at least get one doe a year type thing or something as a legal right. But I don't think you should have to pay for licenses and stuff. But then I see the point that they got to get the money from somewhere for the conservation, that all kinds of things. But if people were more honest, we wouldn't have to have all the conversation we have and all the conservation officers we have. Even though that's all down, the conservation officers because of budget cuts and stuff, we still, if people were just more honest. The problem is people in this world are not honest. I see people online all the time catching, fish that are not legal and, keeping them or, knocking them in the head or, all kinds of things. It's bad. There's bad people in every society, every facet of society. So, all right, here's a whitehead. And I'm not talking about the pimple on your kid's face or maybe yours. All right. Then we're gonna do a little mix here and do a gray tail. So we're just using complementary colors. And we're going back to marabou. So we want just a little, this one's gonna be like a 1/8 inch sticking out the rear. I mean 3/8 inch sticking out the rear. I said 8. All right, that should be enough to cut that off. Get in there and just cut it. The lights kind of seem like they went a little wonky there for a minute. We don't have no bad weather here. It's gorgeous outside. It's like 70 degrees. It's gonna only be what, 80 today, Naomi?
81.
81 today. So we're gonna try to go find a spot to go fishing. Now, there it is. I knew I had some. Man, I'm telling you, got a pile of junk here, and it's all messed up, tangled up. Whatever. I'll just cut a piece off of it. I was starting to clean up my mess, but I got a pile of chenille that's got a bunch of trash feathers in it, so it's like all tangled, and I have to detangle it all. So no chenille on this, or no sparkle on this one. The only sparkle's in the chenille. And this is a black and white peppered chenille. And this makes like a nice little like shad type colored bait. Get that I'm trying to capture that chenille and get it to lay down. I have my process of doing my heads, and the way I wrap my thread in there. So I like hold my thread back at an angle. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can. And then I'll let the thread follow the smoothness of the paint up underneath that chenille to hide that thread. So, but there you go. There's another nice little. That's a nice color combo. I wish my camera would just focus better on it. But that's another little big head jig. You know, these don't have, like I said, they don't have any bait keeper collar. See, want to be outdoors? That'd be pretty cool. Having a program like that. See if I can. Joshua, I have red hooks, and I do have red colored powder paint, but I don't have much of a call for it. I have done an order that. That's why I have the red hooks and stuff. And I bought a box of 1,000, so I have plenty of red hooks. It just the thing about it is if you're a person like me that'll use a jig and then put it back in your box while it's wet, those red hooks seem to rust faster along with the gold ones. That's why I started using these nickel finished hooks. These nickel hooks seem to hold up better and don't rust. So I've had some jigs that I tied a few years ago, and I've used them several times and several times and several times, you know, over that period of time. And I'm why I said several times like that, because I'll use that same jig 2 or 3 outings, and then I won't use it again for a while. Then I'll use it for 2 or 3 outings. So yeah, that's what they're trying to do. Ernie, here, I'm gonna post it too. So yep, that's what they're trying to do. And it's just, I mean, we have more than enough land in this country to provide our needs. Yes, he is at the thrift store right now. He will be back in shortly, anytime. He will be walking in any minute. So here is a black head. There again, not a pimple. I know it's gross, but I'm a guy and I think it's funny. So, all right. So now, what color do I want to do? I'm gonna do white. Do white hackle. Get a hackle out. And there's also a couple garage sales, so they may run with Aaron to a few garage sales. Their uncle. Their uncle goes to the thrift store too, and he drives. So sometimes he just takes them since they're already there together. He'll run them to the thrift stores. Their aunt and uncle and grandmother is the only family that we really have left around here, and my mother. Naomi's mom and my mom. My mom lives outside of town, and then her mom lives 3 miles north of my mom. So they both live on the. My mom lives on our old farm, and her mom lives on her farm. They just happen to separate each other for about 3 miles. Now, to create a really thin profile, because of that being a 1/32 head, I'm using woolly booger chenille, so very small chenille. And I'm like I said, I'm going to make this a bigger hook, so I'm going to make the body a little longer than I normally do. And then we'll just wrap this all the way up. Some people like long bodies. There's some jig tires out there that they'll tie the body clear back to the bend of the hook. And that's fine. That's their style. You know, everybody's got their own style. You can look at some people's jigs and what, oh, there's my whipper. You can look at some people's jigs and almost tell who tied it. You know, or if somebody says, hey, such and such tied that, you can tell, yeah, oh yeah, they tied that. I can see that. So everybody has a style. I have one friend that used to tie long tails and long bodies, and now he ties
Nothing.
very short tails and short bodies. So
What did you buy now? Only one item.
all right, come on over, Gregory. Gregory's home. This is
How
everybody's
much?
warning. Gregory's home. Oh, Matt's breaking stuff.
How much? $2.
So,
Here.
anyways, Burrito, here's what you wanted. Mr. Gregory, Dave, do you still paint jig heads? Yes, I still do my own. Looking for white with silver flake, 1/8 ounce, and a sickle hook. Okay, so white with silver flake. I will have to see if I can get some of that. I don't have that color. What are you doing, Gregory? Yeah, Gregory's all eyeballing all the jigs. You go back and watch the video. You watch me tie them all. He's sitting over here looking at him, waiting for his turn. Excited to see what he found with the bait keeper left. Okay, yeah, you the bigger body. Yeah, like what I normally tie. Yeah, right on. Yeah, Matt, let me find my paper here. Get my loose feathers. Did you just message me? We'll see who messaged me.
Ow.
Oh, it's Chrissy.
You told him to get his butt over.
Okay, so Matt want to be. So I can remember which Matt, and then white, silver, flake. All right, I'll see if I can find a white with silver flake. Missy, how you doing, girl? Magnet fishing, you pulled a couple copper hooks. Never seen them before. Yeah, sometimes you'll get the brass hooks, or even the they make a hook that has a cladding on it, so it has a coating on it, and that coating sometimes when it comes off, they will look just as copper as that right there. So it just depends on what they're coating them with, what they're eating the tips off with, because most of these are acid dip. So Gregory's here and he's ready. He's getting antsy. What you got, Gregory? Oh, you can't hardly see your face. It won't focus. There it goes. Oh, there you go. So what do you got? Show him. A Stanley. Them Stanleys are getting to be worth some money these days. This one's, how much you pay for it? $2? Right on. Stanley since 1913. What's the date on this one? Because most of these Stanleys, as you can see, most of these Stanleys got writing on them. So no, I don't see. It's got a code number on there and stuff. It says SSO2, but I don't know what that means. So, but anyways, those are very good Stanleys, aren't they, Gregory? Boy, I don't like your hat. Look at that. And you can do it Gilligan style so everybody can see you. There you go. Hey, look at there. Gregory got his haircut. So, yeah, he blinded me with the light. He was doing that on purpose. All right. Well, and that was Gregory's fine for the day, $2. You can't beat that for a good Stanley. That makes what? 3 of them you got now? 2 of them? He's got 2 of those now. I knew he had another one. And during the winter, he'll put hot cocoa and stuff in them when we go fishing and what have you. He's got, bring him that one and show him that one. So this is one that he got a while back. Show it to him. Get it up closer. You ain't got to take it out. Just show him the box. All right, you want to take it out? So see, that's what we call this one This one looking like a big old 45 and 44, you know, a 45-70 bullet. All right. Let's tie another jig and get another one of these out. See, I got plenty of white. Now I would have to figure out. I don't know. I suppose I could get a white and then a clear flake. But here's the thing: with white, you get such a chance of runoff because white is very hard to apply. It's very chalky powder. So when you bake them in the oven, you get a lot of cone heads. I would like to get a stand. They make these little stands that will hold your jig up like this, and between like pinch between two silicone and stuff, so you can, stick all your jigs in there and then fire, heat them up that way. The way I do them is I hang them on this. So as you can see, there's a few left hanging on there, and I just use a baking rack and I line that up because and then I have an oven in the shop, so I like doing this because I can literally put a couple hundred hooks on here and do a couple hundred at a time. And if you're doing the little bitty ones, you can literally get 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 200, 20, 40, 60, 80. You can get 280 on there of the tiny ones. But if you have two of these, I guarantee you could bake off heads faster than you could color, put the powder on them. So I just sit there and powder for a couple hours and then fire them all off at once and be done with it. And then I'll do that several times, through a week. And then I'll get I got a bunch of little tackle boxes that I keep here beside me. So tackle box, jigs. So there's not a lot of jigs left in this one, but there's a fair amount still in there. So there's one. There's another one. It's got probably only about 12 jigs left in it. Then here's another one. It's got jigs in it. And then I have a giant one. So, and each one of these is like different sizes and what have you. So, and then I just have them sitting here beside me in a pile with that tray sitting on top of them. Easy access. All my chenilles here. I am literally, just to show y'all, I'm literally in my living room. We have an open kitchen, which it's messy. And Gregory's over there making breakfast. He got everything laid out. But we were prepping from garden, getting all of our dehydrated peppers going and cutting peppers and picking peppers. And there's a couple containers of peppers over there, one container of onions, one container of potatoes, couple leftover adult drinks from
What?
I'm not going to get yelled at. It's part of the reason she was dehydrated. But anyways, we are going to, where'd my feather go oh, there it is. So I got this little bitty white one. See, that's kind of junky. Let's find a better white one. There, see, I like them like this. So but that's too big of a feather. That's too much feather. And when you get too much of a feather, you just take and pull the center out. Now you got two of them. That other one may not be very good because it's the bottom part. All right, so stick that out there. And there again, a little longer hook, a little longer body. And then let's go with a little bit different. So this is I think it's called June bug or something like that. I can't remember. But it's an olive base with green, blue, a little, purple in there, just kind of some funny colors in this chenille. So it looks really good. So, I mean, It looks fairly dark, but in person it's not as dark as what it appears on camera. And then we're just going to wrap this 4 or 5 times to get up to the front. You don't want to like a funny looking striped body. You want all that chenille to be tight. Simple jigs like this, you can tie a couple dozen in an hour and then go have you one heck of a day. So you can set in the morning, tie you some coffee up, get you a dozen jigs going, take off. You know, little jigs. You can use your fly rod. So that was my intent on them little jigs anyway. So here's this. Now, Matt, hand me my fly rod real quick right there, would you please? I'm going to show y'all my fly rod. On Panfish Nation, the last couple of weeks have been talking about fly fishing and stuff, and it's because Lyle got Mark started, got talking to Mark, trying to convince him for the last couple of years to get a fly rod and go fly fishing, that he would like it. So I told Mark, Lyle's not kidding, you'd like to fly fishing. So I sent Mark a fly reel, and I sent it to him dang near 2 years ago, I think. I know it was last year. Maybe not 23 or 24 or 23 or 22 is when I sent it to him. I can't even remember now. But anyways, so this is my fly rod. So like this is my old fly rod that I've had for 14 years, 13 years, something like that. So it is a Ross reel. It's just an R2, nothing fancy. It's a nice smooth reel. I like the taper of the Redington. This is a Redington rod. So this is a Redington RS4. When I bought this rod, they were like $500 with the reel. I can't remember exactly how much the rod was, but I also bought it at a fly shop, so it just may have been more than what Redington actually was selling them. And it is a 4-piece, so 4 pieces. Now, here's a little trick for those that have problems pulling their fly rods apart. Take your fly rod, stick it between your hat and your hair, and go like this. Get some of your personal oil, and when you put them together, stick it in the right one. When you put them together and snug them up, they will come right back out because you basically just greased your tips. So every time you go fishing, and I put my fly pole together, that's what I do. I simply just go like this. I scratch my head where I need to scratch my head. Then I put my fly rod together. Now, this is a 9-foot 5-weight. And I keep it in a double case just because I like to put my tip and other pieces separate from my reel, because then I can also stack, my little fly box. So that's what's next is my little fly box. Oh yeah, you wanted me to show my other one too? So this is my other Redington that I have. As you can tell, I like Redingtons. Reel. This is my other rod. My reel's in the truck. So this is my other rod, and this is also a Redington. This is a 4-weight, and this is a nicer rod as far as for panfish. That was a carbon fiber tube, so they weigh nothing. But this is better for panfish like bluegill and smaller crappie. But it is also a more expensive rod, and it's not super high dollar. But I mean, it was like they were like 500 or something, with the line and everything. You're in it at 6, and the reel you're 7. Things like that. So, and this right here, it's a Redington Link. So you can look them up. I don't even know what they're. I haven't looked them up for a while. Redington Link 4-weight.
Might went out now, Matt.
So they're discontinued, but I'm looking at like the used market is what I'm gonna go after and see. Yeah, so there's a couple online for like 200, 250, 170. So, but those are used. So that just tells you, I mean, they're good rods. So This whole rod probably only weighs like uh, 6 ounces, 8 ounces, something like that. But I love this rod. And what are you doing, Rosie? You're all up on it. Oh, there's some fish slime on that bag. Here, look at the bag. Everybody see what she's doing? Here. She smells all me on the.
Put Rosie out.
Go put her out. But yeah, so like that's my fly rods. They're not. I mean, when I say that I spent 5 on one and 6 on the other, that's including the reels, so not the lines. Because line, if you want a good line, I was on a live and somebody said that I was a fool for spending $140 on a line, $135 on a line. Here's the thing: is I sit in a wheelchair. I want a line that has a very good castability. I have good rods, and if you get a matched line, now you can buy cheaper lines that may be as good, but they're still not going to be. There's a reason you pay that money for those. Okay, here's my reasoning. You pay the extra money for the fly line for the simple fact is you're paying that extra money for all the technology, all the research, all the development, everything that went into that line. So that's like the same, that would be the say like, no, I'd rather hire the handyman down the street to fix my water heater than have a plumber come in and fix my water heater, because the plumber's just going to do just as good a job. Well, I mean, the handyman's just going to do just as good a job as the licensed plumber. Well, maybe so, but maybe not. That's kind of, but I mean, I could go buy it. They got $300 and $400 fly lines. So I bought a middle of the road fly line. And it did kind of upset me a little bit by that person saying that I wasted my money, because I don't drink soda pop. I don't eat crap. I haven't drank soda pop and I'm pretty sure it's 14, 15 years by now. I know it's at least 12. So, because I haven't drank soda pop since I've been in the wheelchair. I stopped because of health reasons, because I was getting fat. I was 280 pounds when I fell and hurt my back and was in the wheelchair. So, I had to lose weight. Right now I'm high 220s and I still am really fat. So I've lost, 60 pounds almost since the wheelchair. So, and I'm still huge in my opinion. Now I know to some people, being 225 or so is not fat, but I think it is. For my height, I should be like 165, 170. And being in a wheelchair, probably less than that, since I don't have muscle mass like everybody else in my legs. So I have a weight forward. I use Rio lines to start off with. So they're $100 for a loop floating weight forward. And I use a floating because in Kansas, every place I fish is 5 feet deep. I use a floating line. My leader or whatever I'm using, I usually just tie a 20-pound line, looping a 20-pound line, give me about 3 or 4 inches, and then tie 4-pound line to it, 2-pound line to it, and just use that. I may tie, 20-pound line, small section, then a piece of 10 down to a first jig or a first fly, and then run 4 off of that to the fly that I'm actually trying to use. But that other jig is going to take it down to the zone I want. And then a lot of times I use strike indicators. I'm a fan of whopper ploppers. I said whopper ploppers. The thingamabobs, the weird names I'm trying to get in my head, and I'm thinking the wrong thing. So I'm a fan of thingamajigs, which is basically just a plastic bubble with a metal loop in the end, and you can just put those on your line. So they're all right, but what I prefer is I just go buy walleye pills, so the little walleye floats, and I use those in a toothpick. They work great. You could buy the football fly floats. They look just like a football, hole through them, put them on your fly line, toothpick, you're done. Those work great too. A lot of people will use topwater flies, grasshoppers, things like that as a strike indicator with a fly dropped off of that. So everybody has their own way of fly fishing. I have my self-taught. I'm a redneck. I do it the way I want. And I went through, like I said, the fly line situation. I went through several cheap fly lines, Scientific Angler, some of the other ones. I don't want to get into too many names because I don't want to get yelled at by anybody on here, but they're all junk. You know, the cheap lines are junk. The reason why fly fishermen get frustrated is because they're not using a quality line. You can have a cheaper rod as long as it's the action that you need for the style. If you got more whip in your wrist, you need a faster rod. If you can hold your wrist tight, you could have a softer rod. Me, I like a moderately fast fly rod. I want to be able to pull that 40 feet of line off the water, whip it all the way back behind me as I'm pulling it in my lead, and then shoot that thing out so I can get 75 feet out in the water. The only way I can do that is with a weight forward line and a quality line. I'm sitting down. I can't throw my body into it, or I'm going to throw my butt down on the ground. So, yes, as you can see, it bothered me. I am a fly fisherman, but I'm a fly fisherman in my own right. I do what I want and I fly fish the way I want. I use jigs to fly fish with. People think I'm crazy. Here's my thing is, why can't you throw that? Why can't you put that on a fly line and pitch it out there with a 5-weight rod? Because I will use these, the bigger 32nd ounce. I'll use those. You just got to give it a little bit more effort. You can't roll cast it very well because it's too heavy of a jig. But these lighter 80ths, I mean, you can whip them things out there no problem. And they'll actually carry very well. They won't pile up the end of your line or your leader or whatever. So right now I do have a tapered leader on my reel. I was fishing somewhere, ran out of fly line, or ran out of 4-pound line, and I believe it was Aaron that gave me a tapered leader. Somebody gave me a tapered leader. I don't even remember who it was, but somebody gave, may have been my son. But it was last year, the year before, we were trout fishing. It actually might have even been Rex. No, it wasn't Rex. I don't know. It might have been Rex while we were. Yeah, because I did have my. Anyways, somebody gave me a tapered leader and I'm using it, but I cut the first 2 feet off of it because I didn't want it that long. And then when it gets short enough, I'm just going to nail knot or join knot or whatever. Usually, I will tie them off together. However I do it. It just depends on the day and my mood and where I'm at and what I got to cut my line and how close I can get my line and everything else. So I just love fly fishing. So, anyways, this is where, yeah, I like the tapered leaders. Rex, I'm the same way to a point. Here's my thing with the tapered leaders: they lay down just fine. They lay down straight. The problem is they're just too long. Here in Kansas, I mean, when you're using 6-foot and 8-foot tapered leaders or even 10s, it's just too long, in my opinion. Then somebody needs to make a high quality 3 or 4-foot tapered leader. That's it. Yeah. See, what I just use, like I said, I just use it, with this tapered leader. It's got a loop on it and stuff like that. But it is no big deal to tie a loop, people. I mean, what size line is it? You ain't gonna be able to see that. Here's some line. Here's how you tie a loop. You twist it away from you, pull and make one wing. Twist it over that wing to where it overlays that. Then you lay this between the two. Then you pull that front one through. And if you need to, get you an appliance or something that you can grab, and you simply, there you go. And your tag end should come off sideways like that. Then you have a very small looped knot that will hold. And this is actually how you start a fishing net. So you would have a rod, and then you would tie a bunch of these around the rod, and then you start looping that off, and that's how you would make a fishing net. So anyways, that knot is very strong. It's on almost all your already snelled leadered hooks when you buy them. You do that. You put a little bit of UV glue on there or knot glue on there to keep your knot from snagging on anything. You put it on your fly line and off you go. Like I said, mine's a tapered leader on here now, but like I said, you can use whatever you want. Just the biggest thing is, as long as you're using something to get your butts out of the house to the lake and get a line wet. I got to a couple times this week, tried to yesterday. My boy was here working on his Forerunner, putting in he had like a computerized control switch for his headlamps and spotlights and all of his rock climbing lights for that big fancy bumper that we built, which I'm editing the video, and this thing, I hate editing. Oh my God. I've only got 4 minutes edited of this video, and it's taken 2 hours. And then I still got another 45 minutes worth of video to edit just for that bumper video. I got to do, I don't know. My other channel is suffering because I am too ignorant and I can't ask my friends to keep editing my stuff. So I don't know what I just need to figure it out. Find a better program, something easier. I don't know. Anyways, y'all, I'm done ranting for the day. I haven't tied a jig, sitting here talking about fly fishing and what I like and don't like. And I'm not trying to offend nobody, but if you're having trouble fly fishing and you do have a cheap line, find somebody that's upgrading their line and see if you can purchase their line used. As long as they keep it clean and take care of it, fly lines will last for years. The last fly line I had, 7 years is what I used it. I just clean mine periodically, wipe it down with fly line lube. They do make such a thing. It helps go through your guides better and what have you. A dirty line hangs up. Let me tell you that. Friction causes problems. So with that being said, y'all go do something, go tie something, go catch something, go be something. So tomorrow's not promised. I'm trying to lose weight. It's the struggle. Life is a struggle. A heart attack's a struggle. I'm trying to get out there more. I want to do more lives. Trying to fix the boat. You guys know life is life, and life just sometimes you just want to throw something. So I'll get the boat fixed. We'll get some more videos made. We'll get out and do some more bank fishing. We're going to try to do some more lives. I got my tablet figured out maybe to where I can start doing lives on it. I don't know what my problem is with StreamYard on my tablet. It does my phone just fine, but my tablet, it wants to change stuff and makes it to where it doesn't, yeah. Dave Gregory will be in the commercial tonight. Uh-oh, Gregory! He said you're going to be in the commercial tonight. Show him what you're eating. You're eating a waffle sandwich with lunch meat and Swiss cheese. Is that good breakfast? You think so? You're going to be wired up all day today, ain't you? Yeah, I already see it coming. Anyways, all right, y'all. Be blessed, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. Friday morning, 8:05 Central Standard Time. Like and subscribe and all that jazz. You know how it goes. We're trying to build the channel. I know I've been slacking that heart attack, but we will get something done eventually. And if y'all don't have Rex on stuff, we got some announcements coming up with him shortly. I seen a post. Him and I haven't talked about it, but I seen a post. Hopefully it's true. So y'all keep tuned. There's some info right there to make your head swim for a minute. See ya. We're out of here.